Most people don't think twice about video calls anymore. Friends call, family calls, co-workers call, and sometimes a number appears on the screen that you don't recognize. Usually it's harmless. A wrong number. A spam call. Someone dialing the wrong contact. But the truth is, when you accept a video call from an unknown number, you're not just opening a conversation, you're opening a window. A window that shows your face, your room, your surroundings. Sometimes even your location. And in 2025, a 26-year-old college student named Jason Miller learned exactly how dangerous that window could be. Jason was living in a small apartment in Tempe, Arizona, just a few blocks from the university campus. It was a quiet place. One bedroom, a small kitchen, a balcony overlooking the parking lot. Most nights, Jason stayed up late, playing games or finishing assignments, and like a lot of students, he kept his phone close by almost constantly. One Thursday night around 12:40 a.m., Jason was sitting at his desk working on a research paper. The apartment was quiet. The only light in the room came from his laptop screen. Then his phone buzzed, an incoming video call. The number wasn't saved in his contacts. Jason assumed it might be one of his classmates trying to reach him through a new number. So he did what most people would do. He answered. The screen connected instantly. But instead of seeing a person, the camera showed darkness. Just a dim, grainy image. Jason frowned. "Hello?" For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the image shifted, and a face appeared on the screen. A man, late 30s maybe, pale skin, thin smile. The man didn't say anything at first. He just stared. Jason felt an immediate sense of discomfort. "Do I know you?" Jason asked it. The man shook his head slowly. "No," he said quietly. Then he smiled again and ended the call. Jason stared at his phone for a moment. Weird, he thought. Probably just some random internet troll. He shrugged it off and went back to working. 10 minutes later, his phone buzzed again. The same number. Another video call. Jason hesitated this time, but curiosity got the better of him. He answered again. This time, the man's face appeared immediately. Still smiling, still silent. Then the man spoke. "You're working late tonight." Jason blinked. "What?" The man tilted his head slightly. "Big paper due tomorrow." Jason felt a sudden chill. "How do you know that?" The man didn't answer. Instead, he leaned slightly closer to the camera. Then he said something that made Jason's stomach drop. "You should close the blinds." Jason turned slowly toward the window beside his desk. The blinds were open. The parking lot outside was dark. No one visible. Jason looked back at the phone. The man was still smiling. "Who is this?" Jason asked. The call disconnected. Jason sat frozen for a moment. Then he walked to the window and pulled the blinds closed. He told himself it was nothing. Just someone guessing. Maybe someone who knew him from campus. But an hour later, as Jason was brushing his teeth in the bathroom, his phone buzzed again. Another video call. Same number. This time Jason didn't answer. The phone rang for almost 30 seconds before stopping. Then a message arrived. I'm sure many of you have gotten a wrong number text before. Usually, you just ignore it, right? Well, a few weeks ago, I got a text from an unknown number. It just said, "I see you." I brushed it off as a prank. Then, a few minutes later, another one came through. "Nice shirt." I looked down at my blue shirt. A chill went down my spine. I typed back, "Who is this?" The reply was instant. "Look up." My apartment is on the 3rd floor. I scanned the windows of the building across the street, but saw nothing. My heart started pounding. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was a video call from the same number. My hands were shaking, but I answered it. The screen was black. All I could hear was heavy breathing. Then a distorted voice whispered, "You can't hide." I hung up, blocked the number, and drew all my curtains. I spent the rest of the night jumping at every little sound. The next day, I went out for groceries, trying to act normal. As I was walking back, my phone buzzed. A new number. The message was a photo of me, taken just moments before, walking down the street. I dropped my groceries and ran back to my apartment, my mind racing. How did they get my new number? I didn't even have a new number yet. This was the same phone. This was no prank. Someone was actively tracking me. That night, I packed a bag. I decided to leave the city. I bought a new phone, a cheap burner, and paid for it in cash. I got a new number and only gave it to my parents. I took a bus to a small town a few hundred miles away, a place where no one knew me. I felt a sense of relief for the first time in days. I rented a small room, determined to start over, to escape this nightmare. For about a week, there was silence. I started to relax, thinking I had finally shaken them off. Then, one evening, my new phone buzzed. My blood ran cold. It was an unknown number. The message was a single sentence. Did you really think it would be that easy? My world shattered. A video call came through. I stared at the screen, terrified. With a trembling finger, I accepted. This time, the camera was on. It was a live feed of my own front door, from the outside. I was watching my own apartment being watched. The distorted voice came through the speaker again, a low chuckle that echoed in the silent room. You run, I follow. There's no escape. I haven't slept properly since. Every shadow looks like a person. Every phone ringing in public makes my heart leap into my throat. I change locations every few days, but it doesn't matter. The messages always find me. Photos of me at a coffee shop, a video of me sleeping in a motel room. I don't know who this is or what they want, but they've turned my life into a living hell. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, consumed by paranoia. I'm sharing this because I'm desperate. I don't know what to do anymore. How do you escape someone who seems to be everywhere at once? How do you fight a ghost? Thank you for listening. If you have any ideas, please, I need help. Stay safe. Out there, most people assume the biggest risk of answering a video call from an unknown number is embarrassment. Maybe it's a scammer. Maybe it's someone dialing the wrong contact. At worst, you hang up and block them. But the truth is, when you accept a video call, you aren't just seeing someone else's face. You're showing them yours. Your room. Your lighting. Sometimes even the layout of your home. And, for someone patient enough, that tiny window into your life can become something much more dangerous. That's what happened to Emily Carter, a 24-year-old graduate student living in Austin, Texas. Emily lived in a small townhouse on the edge of the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was comfortable. 2 floors. A narrow living room, a kitchen facing the street. She had lived there for almost a year without any problems. Most nights, she studied late. Her phone sat beside her laptop while she worked. And one night, in early March, that phone rang. The call came at 11:08 p.m. Unknown number, but instead of a normal call, it was a video request. Emily frowned. She assumed it was one of her classmates trying to reach her from a new number. So she did what most people would do. She tapped accept. The screen connected. But the video feed looked strange. The image was dark, blurry, almost like the caller's camera was pointed at the floor. "Hello," Emily said. For a moment, there was no response. Then the image moved slightly. A shadow crossed the screen, and a man's voice spoke quietly. "You're studying again." Emily felt a small jolt of confusion. "What?" The voice continued. "You always sit by the lamp." Emily turned her head toward the desk lamp beside her. It was the only light in the room. "How do you know that?" she asked. The feed flickered. Then the call ended. Emily sat there for a moment, staring at her phone. It felt strange, but she convinced herself it was just a prank. Maybe someone from class, someone guessing. She blocked the number and went back to studying. But 20 minutes later, another video call came through. Different number, same unknown caller. Emily hesitated this time, but curiosity got the better of her again. She answered. The screen filled with darkness once more. Then the voice returned. "You closed the blinds." Emily's heart skipped, because she had done exactly that after the first call. "Who is this?" she demanded. The man chuckled softly. Then he said something that made Emily's stomach twist. "You're alone tonight?" Emily ended the call immediately. Her apartment suddenly felt very quiet. She walked through the house, checking the locks. Front door locked. Back door locked. Windows closed. She tried to convince herself the caller had simply been guessing. But a few minutes later, her phone vibrated again. This time, it wasn't a call. It was a message. A single sentence. "The car outside your window isn't yours." Emily slowly walked to the living room window. The streetlight outside illuminated the road. And there, parked along the curb, was a black sedan she had never seen before. Her pulse started racing. She quickly stepped back from the window. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. "Don't worry, I'm not inside." Emily grabbed her phone and called the police. But by the time officers arrived, the car was gone. They told her it was probably just someone messing with her, a prank caller. But the next night, it happened again. Another video call. Another unknown number. This time, Emily refused to answer. The call rang for nearly a minute. Then, a message arrived. "You didn't answer tonight." Emily ignored it. Another message appeared. "Good choice." Her heart pounded as she read the next line. "Because your front door lock is weak." Emily immediately ran downstairs and checked the door. Locked. Secure. But when she looked closer, she noticed something chilling. Tiny scratches around the deadbolt. Fresh ones, as if someone had recently tried to force it. She called the police again. This time they searched the area more thoroughly. But again, no one was found. The officer suggested installing better locks and security cameras. Emily agreed. Over the next few days, she replaced the deadbolt and added a door camera. For almost a week, the calls stopped. Emily started believing the nightmare was over. Then one night at 12:17 a.m., her phone lit up again. Video call, unknown number. She didn't answer, but the door camera app suddenly sent a notification. Motion detected. Emily opened the camera feed. Her breath caught in her throat. A man was standing on her porch. The same man she had briefly seen during the very first video call. He stared directly into the door camera, then slowly raised his phone. On the screen of his phone, Emily could see her own number. The man spoke quietly. "You stopped answering." Emily called the police immediately, but the man had already walked away by the time officers arrived. The investigation that followed revealed something disturbing. The caller had been using a method known as visual mapping. Every time Emily accepted a video call, her phone camera revealed small details. The angle of the room, the window behind her, the reflection of streetlights in the glass, even the color of the building across the road. By analyzing those details, the caller had slowly determined where she lived. Not instantly, but piece by piece, call by call. And once he found her house, he began watching. The police eventually caught the man 2 weeks later, after he attempted to break into another home in the same neighborhood. When they searched his phone, they discovered dozens of saved screenshots from video calls. Different victims, different rooms, different houses, all mapped carefully. Emily moved out of the townhouse shortly after. New place, new number, new locks. But one thing about the experience still bothers her, because during the investigation, police told her something chilling. The man had saved the first screenshot from her video call. The image showed Emily sitting at her desk. Behind her, the reflection of the street light in the window. That reflection revealed the angle of the street outside. And according to investigators, that single reflection was the clue that allowed him to locate her house. All from one simple decision, answering a call from a number she didn't recognize. And ever since that night, Emily says she never answers video calls from unknown numbers, because a camera isn't just a way to see someone else, it's a way for them to see exactly where you are. The email notification pinged just after midnight. An unknown sender, subject line blank. Inside was just a link. Nothing else. My cursor hovered over it. Every instinct screamed not to click, but curiosity, that dangerous little traitor, won out. The link opened a live video feed. It was my bedroom. I was in it, asleep in my bed. The camera angle was low, as if someone was crouching in the corner of the room. My blood ran cold. I slammed my laptop shut, my heart hammering against my ribs. I scrambled out of bed, flicking on every light, checking every corner, every closet, under the bed. Nothing. No one. The windows were locked. The front door was... I was alone. I tried to rationalize it. It had to be a prank. A sick, twisted prank. Maybe someone had hacked my webcam. I slapped a piece of tape over the camera lens, my hands shaking. I told myself it was over, but I didn't sleep a wink that night. I just sat there, listening to the house settle, jumping at every creak and groan. The next morning, exhausted and on edge, I tried to forget it. I went about my day, forcing a sense of normalcy, but the feeling of being watched clung to me like a second skin. That night, another email. Another link. This time, I didn't click. I deleted it immediately. But then, another came. And another. A constant, relentless stream of emails. Each one a silent, terrifying reminder. My resolve crumbled premeditated. I clicked the newest link. The feed opened. It was my kitchen. The camera was positioned just outside the window, looking in. I watched, paralyzed, as a figure in the video me walked into the frame, made a cup of tea, and sat at the table, scrolling on my phone. It was what I had done just 10 minutes ago. The feed was live, or closer to Italiano. My breath hitched. I looked at my own kitchen window, the one in the video. The backyard was dark and empty. There was no one there. Yet, the video feed continued, a perfect, chilling mirror of my recent past. Who was doing this? And how? The calls started the next day. A blocked number. I ignored the first few, but the persistence was unnerving. Finally, I answered, ready to scream at whoever was on the other end. But there was no voice, only silence, a heavy, static-filled silence that felt more menacing than any threat. Then I heard it. A faint, rhythmic sound, a soft, raspy breathing. It wasn't mine. It was coming through the phone. I hung up, throwing my phone across the room. The silence in my apartment was deafening. I felt like a bug under a magnifying glass, every move scrutinized by an unseen observer. The emails kept coming, the video links showing me moments from my day, me leaving for work, me at the grocery store, me walking my dog. The camera was always just out of sight, capturing me from impossible angles. It felt like they were everywhere. The silent calls continued, always with that same faint breathing on the other end. My world shrank until it was just the four walls of my apartment. I stopped going out unless I absolutely had to. I covered all my windows. I put tape over every camera I owned, even my phones, but it didn't stop. The feeling of violation was constant. I was a prisoner in my own life, and my stalker held the key. One evening, I was huddled on my couch, trying to lose myself in a movie, when my phone buzzed with an incoming video call, a blocked number. My finger trembled as I accepted. My own face stared back at me, wide-eyed and terrified, but it wasn't a reflection. The video was grainy, lit by the glow of my television. The angle was from the darkened hallway leading to my living room. Someone was in my apartment, right now. I could hear the faint sound of the movie's dialogue from the phone's speaker, a perfect echo of what was playing in my room. And then I heard the breathing. That semi-soft, raspy breathing from the silent calls. It wasn't coming from the phone this time. It was coming from the hallway. I didn't scream. I didn't move. My body was frozen, locked in pure, primal fear. The camera on the phone began to move, slowly, shakily, as if the person holding it was taking a step. Then another, getting closer. The dark shape of a figure began to emerge from the shadows of the hallway on my screen. I couldn't see a face, just a silhouette against the dim light. They were just feet away from me. My eyes darted from the phone screen to the actual hallway. It was empty. There was nothing there, but on the screen, the figure kept advancing. A phantom in my own home. My mind was breaking. Was Tiste real? Was I losing my sanity? The figure on the screen stopped, right behind the couch where I was sitting. I could see the back of my own head in the frame. A hand, pale and thin, slowly entered the shot, reaching for my shoulder. I could feel a cold draft on the back of my neck. The phantom touch before it even happened. I finally found my voice and I screamed. I leaped off the couch and scrambled for the front door, not daring to look back. I didn't stop running until I was bathed in the light of a busy street, surrounded by people, surrounded by noise. I never went back to that apartment. I left everything behind. The police found nothing. No signs of a break-in, no hidden cameras, nothing out of place. They traced the emails and calls, but they all came from spoofed addresses and burner numbers, leading to dead ends across the globe. To them, it was a sophisticated but ultimately harmless prank. But I knew better. It wasn't a prank. It was a ghost in the machine, a digital phantom that had latched onto me. I moved to a new city, changed my name, and tried to start over. For a while, it worked. I felt safe. I started to believe the nightmare was over. Then, last night, just after midnight, my new laptop pinged. An email notification. An unknown sender. Subject line blank. Inside was just a link. I haven't clicked it. I can't. I'm staring at it right now, because I know what I'll see. I'll see my new room. I'll see myself. And I know that this time, I'll never escape. The fear is back, colder and sharper than before, because now I know it doesn't matter where I run. He or it will always find me. The real horror isn't being watched. It's knowing that you can never, ever hide. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Out there. How do you know that? The man didn't answer. No. The man shrugged slightly. Then I guess you'll find out later. End the call. Disconnected. Megan stood there for a moment in the silent kitchen, her heart racing. The back door was definitely open. She locked it immediately. Then she called the police. Officers arrived within 15 minutes. They searched the apartment carefully. Closets, bathroom. Under the beds, no one. But when they checked the back door frame, they noticed something disturbing. Small scratches around the lock, as if someone had tested it recently. The officers suggested installing a better deadbolt and keeping doors secured. They also advised her to avoid answering unknown calls. Megan agreed. The next few nights were quiet. No calls, no messages. Eventually she began convincing herself the entire thing had just been a strange prank. Until 3 nights later, at 2:03 a.m., her phone rang again. Video call? Unknown number. Megan stared at the screen. She knew she shouldn't answer, but something about the situation made her feel like she needed to see who it was. Slowly, she pressed accept. The camera connected, but this time the screen showed something different. It wasn't the man's face. It was darkness. A dim view of a hallway. Megan stared, because the hallway looked familiar. Too familiar. The man's voice came through the speaker. "Good evening, Megan." Her throat went dry. The camera moved slightly, and the image became clearer. It was her hallway. Inside her apartment, the exact hallway connecting the kitchen to the bedrooms. Megan's hands began shaking. "How are you doing this?" she whispered. The man laughed softly. Then the camera turned, and for a moment, Megan saw the bedroom door behind her. The angle was wrong. Impossible. It looked like the video was coming from somewhere inside the apartment. Somewhere behind her, the man spoke again. "Turn around!" Megan's heart pounded in her chest. Slowly, she turned toward the hallway. The apartment was silent, empty. But when she looked back at the phone, the hallway video was gone. Now the screen showed the man's face again. He smiled. "You're safer when you don't answer," he said. Then the call ended. Megan ran out of the apartment immediately and called police again. This time, officers searched the building thoroughly. They eventually found something hidden in a maintenance closet down the hallway. A small wireless camera. Battery-powered, connected to a mobile hotspot device. Investigators believe the man had installed it earlier in the week while posing as a maintenance worker. The camera had been positioned to capture Megan's apartment doorway whenever it opened. From there, the man could slowly study her routine, her schedule, her apartment layout. And when she answered the first video call, he had used what he already knew to frighten her. But there's one detail Megan still can't explain, because according to the investigation, the hallway camera was placed outside her apartment, not inside. Yet during the final video call, the feed clearly showed her hallway. From within the apartment, police never found a second camera, and Megan says that's the part that still keeps her awake at night. Because someone on that call was able to show her a live view of a hallway camera that should not have existed, inside a home that had been searched twice. And that means one possibility investigators never confirmed. The man on the call might not have been watching from outside the building. He might have already been somewhere inside it, waiting for her to answer again.